Hello, hope everyone is keeping well. It's been a while since I posted a video here on YouTube, so I thought I'd pop in and say hi. Um, let's see, I think my last video was before St. Patrick's Day, and here we are at the end of April. So the spring is definitely in full swing. It was a cold spring, kind of windy and rainy, so it wasn't much fun being outside, but the last week we've had some very nice weather, so everything is growing really great. So I'm here in the greenhouse, and I thought I'd just show you guys a few things just to share what's growing. This here is some bok choy that we planted. I guess I set the seed in January, so it's taken a while. But I think the bok choy likes the cold weather, so it did pretty good. Some of it's going to seed now, as you can see. And this is some coriander, known as cilantro in the States. And that was a little tiny sprig of it that overwintered here in the greenhouse, and it's grown pretty big, and we've been enjoying it of late. So there's some more bok choy. Let's see what we got over here. We got a few beans sprouted. They got a ways to go. Down here are tomatoes. These ones here are cherry tomatoes, and these ones here are just regular tomatoes. I was surprised to see the leaves were this roundy shaped leaf, like instead of, I thought tomatoes all had this kind of pointy leaf, but it turns out that yeah, some tomato varieties have these kind of roundy leaves. So that was a surprise. I hope they come out well. I hope we'll like them. There's a few more here. These are leek seedlings coming up. And this here are cosmos. They're going to be going outside before too long, which will be great. So anyways, this is the greenhouse. This here is a tray I started in January, and I'm going to have to transpose these outside pretty soon. I think this here is lettuce, but this here is lobelia, and so those are all flowers. And then there's some coriander growing in cups, so hopefully that'll be good at some point. So anyway, it's the greenhouse is always mostly a workspace, so it's definitely kind of messy. But anyway, we love it. It's not that big, but it's been a great amenity to have, because we bought it in during COVID, and we often said it was like the best thing we ever purchased, because certain plants really can't grow outside in Ireland, like the tomatoes and the green beans. So it's great to have the greenhouse for that. And then also just for starting seeds and stuff, it's really good for that too. We grow lettuce in window boxes here in the back of the house. So those are just getting started. And over here, we have some more window boxes, and this here is Swiss chard. Excuse me. So that's just getting started too. We have a couple of blueberry plants in pots, and there's some other pots over here, which I'm not sure what's in those. I think those are flowers. And we put a few potatoes, seed potatoes in some pots. So those seem to be doing really well. These are a few more pots with potatoes. These are earlies, so they should be ready for harvesting sometime this summer. We have some raised beds here. That's leftover kale from last year. It survived the winter, and I let it go to flower because the bees really like it. It looks just like broccoli when broccoli goes to flower, so I guess kale and broccoli are from the same family. I don't know if you can see the bees. There's a couple of them there popping around. There was both, I had both regular kale and purple kale. I liked the purple kale, the tender young leaves in salad because of the color, and of course kale is super good for you. Once we got the greenhouse, my husband James made a couple of work tables. One is outside and one is in the greenhouse. This is the one outside in the back of the house. And these are, well, earlier in my postings, I mentioned that a friend had given us a couple of plants, and these are them growing. I'm looking forward to transplanting those somewhere. Back here, this is some leftover sage from last year, and also a thyme herb. And then these ones here, these are green beans that we received 4 seeds from our friend Charles, and they're growing really great. They're going to be climbing beans. We have a cold frame here, which is where I sometimes bring plants from the greenhouse into this box to get them acclimated to being outside. If the weather gets bad or it's too windy, I can lower the lid. Like today's a beautiful day. Excuse my shadow there. So we've got some nasturtiums and chamomile and some beet seedlings and some spinach seedlings. They have a ways to go, and that there is borage. And back in the back here we have purple sprouting broccoli seedlings, which really are, they're in the cups. They're really ready to go into the bed. So they'll pretty much grow all summer. Whether or not we'll get, it's known in the States, I think, as broccolini, but over here it's purple sprouting broccoli. And usually I would winter these over, and then we'd get the broccoli in the following spring. But I started these seeds in January, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. I might get some broccoli out of them maybe before the winter really sets in this year. This is another bed. We have 3 of these beds, and this bed we just planted the calabrese, which is what is called over here broccoli, just the regular heads of broccoli. And this plant grows pretty well over here. We've had pretty good luck with it over the last number of years. So looking forward to a nice crop. Hopefully the slugs and snails won't devour these guys. But so far so good. They've been out here now for 2 or 3 nights. So I've been meaning to come out with my flashlight and my bucket and collect any slugs or snails that might be around here, but honestly, by the time it gets dark, I don't really feel like coming out, so I've been kind of negligent in that regard. But so far so good. I don't think there's much nibbling here yet. Here's a couple of heather plants that with a weed prominently in the center. But we planted these years ago, and they just grow and grow and grow, and they really like it here. Well, this is an overall view of the garden that's to the east side of our house. So it's getting some nice afternoon sun. And the tulips are coming along at the moment, and the daffodils are definitely done. But it being late April, of course, that would be the case. But anyway, I still have to work on these pots and get some flowers, some, regular summer type flowers going. And then, but still enjoying the tulips. You can see the yellow ones. That's Pink Lady there. When we first moved here, my husband assembled these stones into a sort of a bed, and we've been growing different things over the years, some successfully, others not so. But anyway, we love it. Sometimes on a nice day we sit there and enjoy a Levins's or a cup of tea, and then we just look and look and look and just stare out at this garden, which is pretty big, bigger than really we need or can possibly manage, really. But we're doing our best. This is some wildflowers that my husband allowed to grow. He had a little wildflower garden here and then turned it into more perennials, but there's still a few wildflowers escaping. And over here was a little stone wall he made, and there's everything growing here. Ferns and some cascading flowers, and there's rose bushes that, of course, they have a ways to go. This here is a Yates rose, which is a lovely, lovely rose. Look it up. I don't think you can get it in the States. I could be wrong. There's some more, wall type. There's loads of plants that we don't really want growing here, but hey, if the bees like them, definitely have to keep the ivy in check because it will really take over. And I think these might be some wild, pansies, wild pansies growing there. And gosh, there's actually a daffodil still left, a late bloomer. And the hedge here, my husband took willow sticks and stuck them in the ground quite a few years ago, and it grew. That's the bird feeder. There's the house. Yep. Oh, that's the music room doors. Anyways, the hedge. It just he wove some of the willow, so that it kind of turned into a hedge, and then he just keeps it trimmed. He also made that arch out of willow. I don't know if you can see that. I'll show it to you from the other side. And then this is all this grass that's mowed. Fortunately, he bought a riding mower, so it's a lot to mow. Those are the Ox Mountains in the back. And we got some apple trees. I think there's some birds up there. They probably want me to get out of the way of the peanuts. And during COVID, a friend of ours, Liam and Margaret, friends, showed us how to make lazy beds. So we put in 4, and we've had various vegetables growing in them. This year there's some early potatoes coming up in this one. I planted those seed potatoes around Easter, so they're breaking ground, which is good to see. This is the long view of this area. There's a lot of trees we've planted along the edges of the property. And then of course there are hedges that were here in the back. And it's mostly sheep and donkeys back in this area. I don't know if you can see the ewe there. Oh, there's a donkey. Look at that. There he is. There's 3 of them in this field. They're so cute. They're very quiet, thank God. I don't know where they go. They're not here all year round. The farmer brings them. There's 3 of them there. I don't know if you can see the other fellas. Anyways, it's beautiful, really quite pastoral. What else can I show you? The apple trees are just, some of these are pretty young. This one's pretty little. The apple blossoms are just starting to come out. They do suffer from the wind, so sometimes the wind just dries the leaves out or takes the buds right off the tree before it's had time to get pollinated. But last year was pretty good, and we're hoping this year that it'll be successful for apples. So anyway, that's the garden. That blue in the distance there, that's the sea, the North Atlantic. I believe that's the direction of Iceland. So anyway, yes, that is it. As far as the tour goes, I don't really have much news otherwise. That's our neighbor Eugene's house, his wife Caroline. They have 2 little girls, cute as buttons. They live across the road. And this here is a little grove of birch trees that my husband planted. Some older than others. This one needs to get restaked. The wind has loosened it. Our helper Sam is coming on Friday, so James is saving that job for him. It's a lot of debris gets put here, sticks and other kinds of garden waste. I just wanted to show you this tree. This is a crabapple tree we planted. I don't know, I think this might be year 2, possibly year 3. But we don't really eat these. But the blossoms are so pretty this time of year. There you go. That big rock over there was found by the man that made the foundation for our house, and he was digging with his digger, and he found this huge rock and he put it over there, and it's never moved since. Of course, but I do, when I catch slugs or snails, I put them on that rock for the birds, and I hope they enjoy. I like to call it the sacrificial table. Ah, all right. I guess that's it for now. Sorry about the shaky camera walking on some bumpy ground here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. Maybe that's enough for now. The sky is usually pretty dramatic around here. There's a lot of birds. You can hear them all. Well, happy spring from Ireland.